Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the blowback. The blowback from the Rise of Skywalker. The media's had time to process it. Fans have had time to process it. And people are salty. There's some people that are salty about
both sides.
Both sides. I mean, this, again, seems to be a movie that's not making anybody happy, regardless of how you felt about The Last Jedi. But we're going to talk about how the media's made it very clear that they favor Rian Johnson. They're very upset that J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson were not on the same page.
Right. But obviously, we said this in the beginning. There was not a roadmap here. It was clear because there was so much disconnect between each of the three movies.
Yeah, where are the articles talking about the lack of direction for this franchise?
I think there is an article about the lack of direction they were talking about when they said that Kathleen Kennedy, might be in trouble because it lacked direction.
Yeah, that's, I can't believe that they just kind of plowed ahead with doing this trilogy with no clear outline of what they were doing. I mean, it blows my mind. But now there is blowback. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Rose Tico. She's in the movie, but barely, and people are angry about that. She got the Jar Jar Binks treatment.
She got Jar Jarred.
She got Jar Jarred. And then we're going to talk about, some of the other fan reactions, some of them volatile. And we'll talk a little bit about the box office. We're going to wait to do a proper box office video until tomorrow once all the numbers are in. But it's pretty much falling in line with the adjusted, the downward adjusted.
The last adjustment, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not the slam dunk that Disney was hoping for. In fact, even Yahoo Finance is calling it a disappointment.
Right.
It's not a bomb.
But yeah, but we don't, like I said, we don't know how much was spent on this movie. I don't think it's broke even yet, that's for sure.
No.
But, it has a bigger budget than a lot of movies that would love to have that amount of money, but they don't have the budget, this did. So.
Right. Plus we had reshoots, plus we had marketing, plus we had all these other things. So we're going to talk about all that, do kind of a roundup here since we've been gone for the last day or so. And we appreciate you guys. We appreciate your support. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We're at, I think, about 85, 86,000.
You're getting close,
somewhere.
Yeah.
We got about 15-ish thousand to go to 100,000. Thank you, guys, for that. We really appreciate it.
So make sure you subscribe, or make sure you're still subscribed, and share, and tell your friends they should subscribe.
All right, so we've got a couple articles from Cinema Blend. We'll talk about first here that 5 Star Wars moments that prove JJ and Rian were not on the same page.
Well, they clearly weren't on the same page just from going from The Force Awakens to The Last Jedi. It was completely clear they were not on the same page.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, well, it feels like they basically tried to reshoot Episode 8 and 9 and shove them together.
That's pretty much what they did.
And it doesn't work for anybody. So, disclaimer, have not seen the movie yet. Don't want to see the movie. I've seen key scenes. I don't care. You said you might go check it out.
I might,
but
not for a little while.
Yeah.
Mostly because I'm too busy.
Yeah, not going this weekend for sure. So there are going to be some spoilers, obviously, in this video. If you haven't seen it yet, you haven't heard the spoilers, all the things they said on YouTube and Reddit were true. And then some. Yeah, so here are the plot points that they have a problem with. They walked back Rey's lineage.
Right.
Because they made a big point of saying that she was absolutely no one in The Last Jedi.
The participation trophy crowd like that. I mean, anybody can be a Jedi. Anybody can be the big hero of the Star Wars, And that's, I get the sentiment. I do. But it was, obviously she was connected somehow.
Yeah, see, this is, like you said, the participation trophy people who were like, anybody can be special. Rian Johnson's film tells us Rey is simply the daughter of junk traders who needed beer money. She's not the special person she thought she was, though she's no less powerful. It was an unsatisfying answer for many, but it was an answer. Then we jump to the Rise of Skywalker and get the double swerve. Actually, Rey is totally a member of a powerful Force-using family. She's a granddaughter of Palpatine. Certainly feels like J.J. Abrams had a plan for Rey and Rian Johnson never got the memo. That is key, because I'd heard before that they apparently wrote 7 and 8 almost simultaneously, and they actually compared notes with each other, but clearly there was no meeting where they sat down and said, this is what happens in 7, this is what happens in 8, this is what happens in 9, this is who Rey is.
Right. That's what blows my mind, because we do books, we write, we do our own series and things, and as most writers will tell you, you cannot have something like this that just goes nowhere. You need to know where it's going. How are you going to get it there? What are the major plot points over the arc to get it to where it's going? You can't just like shit it out each movie and be like, surprise! You have to have some kind of direction, and it didn't seem like there was a direction here.
No, there wasn't. And look at all this stuff. I mean, you really, when you lay it out like this, all the stuff that got walked back, the lightsaber, Skywalker lightsaber got ripped in half in The Last Jedi. It's fixed. It's fixed in this movie. People are angry about that.
Oh yeah, his helmet's fixed.
Yeah, Kylo Ren's tired of hiding behind a mask, so he smashes it in The Last Jedi. Well, they fix it in this movie.
I thought that was a big, bad decision. Because they were trying to make him very Vader-esque. He was going to be the new Vader-type character in the movie. And then they took the helmet off and smashed it. I was like, what the hell are they doing?
It's almost like Rian Johnson went out of his... I mean, it's almost like a double negative, right? Because it's like he went out of his way to give non-answers and to throw people a curveball, from The Force Awakens, from J.J. Abrams' movie. So Abrams set all this stuff up. Rian Johnson went out of his way to basically mess it all up.
Right.
And now J.J. Abrams comes back in and
has to redo it.
Has to put everything back where it was.
I thought you were going to say, it's almost as if, he didn't understand, Star Wars.
Well, there's that too. But I mean, if they had a plan that this is what the plan was, and it felt more coherent, I think people would have been more on board. Even with, the treatment of Luke Skywalker, whatever, if it felt like, yeah, this is where we were going with it. But there was no indication in J.J. Abrams' movie because, you get to the island and Luke is wearing pristine Jedi robes and he looks sad. It's almost as if, he knew Han had passed, but he didn't.
Yeah, but he should have.
And then he immediately goes from that, wearing his pristine Jedi robes, to his frumpy, whatever the hell he was wearing, burlap outfit to go milk some space aliens.
Right. It just didn't even make sense. It didn't even line up. None of it lined up. I'm sorry, it didn't.
So, I'm sorry, but yeah, Rian Johnson's movie was not the planned continuation of The Force Awakens. And somebody at Lucasfilm needed to make sure of those pieces. It's almost like J.J. Abrams stepped away for a little bit and came back. He's like, what the...
Well, no matter how you spin it, whether you like The Last Jedi or don't like The Last Jedi wasn't supposed to be what it was. I'm sorry, it just wasn't.
Yeah, Last Jedi introduced us to many new characters. And we had to establish these characters too. Rose Tico, major character in The Last Jedi. And we'll talk more about Rose. People are mad that she's not in this movie because she was not one of J.J. Abrams' characters.
We might as well talk about it now since we're talking about Rose.
Okay, we'll talk about Rose.
So yeah, people are mad because she got Jar Jar in the movie apparently.
Yeah, so for those of you who haven't seen the prequels, come on, they've been out for like 20 years. But Jar Jar Binks was the biggest problem a lot of people had with the Phantom Menace, and George Lucas actually listened to the fan feedback and gave him very small parts in episode 2 and 3. Actually, 3, he was barely in it. I think he was at the funeral, and that was, oh my god, spoiler? Spoiler?
Yeah.
Padme dies. It's only been 20 years.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so he barely had anything. That was due to the fan backlash of the character. Same thing happened with Rose. People said there was a lot of backlash to Rose Tico, so much so that Kelly Marie Tran left Instagram.
No, it was Twitter.
Or Twitter?
Yeah.
Twitter? Okay.
Or was it Instagram? Whatever she left on social media.
Maybe it was just social media.
Twitter, but...
I believe that story has yet to be proven. I think she left before.
Here's my thing about Rose, and I've said this many times in the videos. I really like Kelly Marie Tran. I think she's a sweetheart. I mean, she was so excited about being in The Last Jedi. I just wanted to hug her. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. I like her as an actress. However, that being said, she was done dirty in the fact that Rose Tico is a crappy character. It really is Rose Tico's this. Why? It's a why character. Why is she here? She's here for a plot device to make you know that Finn is somehow less of a person now. He's gone back to being a coward, and she's there as a woman to show him, what love is and to show him what courage is and all this other stuff when he already knew it.
But he already had that figured out at the end of The Force Awakens.
Right. And Rose Tico could have been a good character, but they gave her a shitty story. I'm sorry, they did. And I don't care if you like it or not that I'm saying it, they did. That is not Kelly Marie Tran's fault. I have said that for years. It's not her fault. She did the best she could with what she was given to work with. And I feel bad that, some people, if it's true, went that far as to bully her off of Twitter, because it's not her fault. She was just doing her job. She didn't write the character. She didn't make the character. She was just doing her job. So I think that wasn't really fair to her. And everybody's like going nuts because she's out on the red carpet and she looks really cute. Well, I think she does look cute. I think she looks amazing. And I like go her because she looks incredible. But her looks for me were never one of the reasons, I was like, oh, I don't like Rose Tico. That had nothing to do with it. But she looks great at the premiere for Rise of Skywalker. And I'm like, that blue dress is killer. I love it. Go her for overcoming whatever happened and moving on. But her character, the problem with Rose Tico wasn't the actress. It was the character.
And the character didn't need to exist. Here's the problem with introducing Tico and Holdo and what the bum dude, DJ was...
Whatever Rian Johnson's characters he wanted to shoehorn in there.
Yeah, all these new characters he introduced... Like, we didn't even know who the characters were from the first movie, from The Force Awakens.
But he made sure he killed off all the classic characters to push these characters.
Yeah, and then, Holdo exists to blow herself up, basically.
On a maneuver that if they could just do that, why haven't they done it for decades?
Blow up the Death Star.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, come on. So yeah, I mean, she really served no purpose other than to make sure
she's a plot device.
Yeah, get Rian Johnson's characters in there. It should have been awesome if they were going to do the whole side quest. They should have sent Finn and Poe off together so they actually could, because
they were too busy belittling them of two different women. That were the whole purpose there was to, It
was almost like it's like they had Poe and Finn. They're like, oh, we can't have a buddy movie, so let's break them up and give them each a woman to learn them.
Right, because they had to be immediately from the beginning.
Yeah.
Suddenly pose a total tool bag, gets everybody killed and doesn't listen to orders, and Finn is suddenly a coward again. So we have to have these female characters that are there to show them their place and raise them up and help build them up to what they are, because they had to degrade them to bring them back.
Yeah, so that's the problem people have with the character. Anyway, Last Jedi defenders are salty. Twitter is very salty. Rose Tico deserves better.
Well, I do think that the actress deserved better. The character could have been better, but.
She had like two. That's why we didn't see her much. And people were complaining she wasn't on the merchandise. Well, she had like 2 lines. That's why she wasn't on the merchandise. That's why Claude the Space Penis was on more merchandise. Now the movie's out. Kelly Marie Tran was robbed. Rose Tico was robbed. We're robbed of seeing our girl in action. Rose Tico made history as the first woman in color lead in the Star Wars. She wasn't really a lead, was she?
Who knows? I didn't think she was, but
she was like a side. They were like the B story team. Yeah. The B team. Actually the C team, because the B team would be Poe and Holdo, and then Finn and Tico were kind of the C team. She was reduced to a few lines. She could have easily joined the group on the adventure, but sure, make her a background character, because Abrams doesn't know what to do with her because she wasn't his character.
No, but they're saying he did. No, but they're saying he did it because he's trying to make the fanboys. Of course, it's always men. Shut up. But here's the thing. I think it's more. It might have been why he did it, but that just fundamentally shows what they don't listen to what people are saying. Because if they had been listening to what people were saying, the problem with her wasn't. It was more about the fact that she was basically there just to go on a side quest that was pointless. And they lowered Finn and you were using her to like raise him back up. It was more to do about that than it was about anything. And they're like, what's her point? That was what it was about. It wasn't that they didn't want Rose in it ever again. That wasn't what they were saying. No. They just listen to what they want to hear, blame it on racism, misogyny, whatever they want to blame it on, instead of listening to what actually people were saying.
Dominic Monaghan had more words than Rose Tico, and Jimmy Wong, who's playing Ling in Mulan, is livid. He's livid. The way they did Kelly Marie Tran's character dirty after all the backlash and racist harassment.
There you go. See, you had to make it racism.
Yep. A main part of the cast to a mere extra with 2 lines is very sad. Rose Tico deserved better.
Because I never even gave it a second thought about that she was Asian. It wasn't like a point for me. I didn't really, care. I was just like, I was looking at her as a character as a whole. I wasn't really looking at her by her check marks to make sure that, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't look at people that way. But, call me crazy.
Yeah, she deserved to lead, and she got silent. She got Jar Jarred. They Jar Jarred.
What did she do to deserve to lead? She led them on an adventure, or went on an adventure through to a casino to save horsies, and then she rammed her ship into Finn's to make sure he didn't die because she loved him.
Yeah.
But she did look awesome. Look how good she looks.
Well, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson, who just will not go away. Rian Johnson will not be silenced. Rian Johnson has to make sure that his work is remembered, not undone by J.J. Abrams.
That's right.
And I'm sorry.
Oh, that's right. He has to make sure he's in every discussion.
Right. And you can't tell me that these 2 guys sat down and had a conversation about the overall flow of the story when they're out. They're trying to basically nullify the other guy's work.
Well, it's funny because Abrams was going on to doing this big thing with, was it Warner Brothers into 2024? Yeah. Yeah, I'm just pointing that out there.
Yeah, DC is going to be interesting.
Anyway, what are you going to say about this?
All right, Luke's sacrifice. Luke's sacrifice. This is interesting. I didn't really think about this because I've only seen The Last Jedi once. That was enough for me. But they said the last minutes of The Last Jedi are simply forgotten about because they're trying to talk about the story of Luke Skywalker and spread his legend and all that. And then it said at the beginning of The Rise of Skywalker, basically everything's reset. Everybody's in a bad place again. There is no hope. There is no Broom Kid. Broom Kid didn't become a Jedi in between movies. They just forgot Broom Kid he just went back to shoveling horse shit on Canto Bight. Except now he could probably levitate the horse shit into the bucket.
That's right.
Without a broom, because he's got the Force. But yeah, but they didn't bring Luke back to life, did they? They didn't bring him back to life because one of the fan theories was that Luke Skywalker either has been dead the entire time, and he was just testing Rey, or that the depressed Luke Skywalker we saw was actually another projection, and that the real Luke Skywalker was someplace else this whole time, and he was just waiting in the wings.
But that's not what they did.
No, that's not what they did. So saying that they undid Luke Skywalker would imply that they undid his death, and they didn't.
Yeah, they undid Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. What's really funny to me is, and I'm gonna get this in here. What's really funny to me is, I know people who are like so mad that Rise of Skywalker undid The Last Jedi because The Last Jedi is the bestest ever, and they're so mad about it. And it's so funny to me because it's like, you know what? Get in line, because for 2 years we've had to hear about how, we're terrible people and everything's wrong with us. You're going to get assigned some ist, or, you're a racist, misogynist, you're homophobe, you're some kind of bad person because you don't like Rise of Skywalker. People are going to mock you with the Man Baby Tears mugs. And you're just, get in line. Welcome to it. A lot of people didn't like The Last Jedi because it undid the entire effing saga. Yeah. So, you don't like this movie because it undoes The Last Jedi. Well, boo the flip who, Maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's for the children. Every excuse that we got thrown at us, back at you. And it's like, I want to feel bad and say, I understand, I get where you're coming from, and I do. But I'm also, there's been so much hatred and bullshit leveled at people who didn't like Last Jedi. Even if they had legitimate reasons, had nothing to do with women or anything. They got so much crap for not liking a stupid movie that, I'm rubber, you're glue. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, and the thing is that ultimately, in 5 years, everybody's gonna look back on the sequel trilogy and be like,
who cares?
Who cares? It divided the fandom, and that brought them together to uniformly hate.
Well, there's a lot of people who like Rise of Skywalker, which you're allowed to like it. We say it all the time. You're totally allowed to like it. I don't care if you like Last Jedi. The difference between me and a lot of people who like Last Jedi, with The Last Jedi was, I didn't sit there and call you names. I didn't sit there and, call you a misogynist, racist, homophobe, whatever is nasty, bad person, however you can throw in there, because you didn't like a stupid movie. Just saying.
Just saying. So, some people were pretty salty.
Well, this is actually funny. This has nothing to do with that. This is because he waited a whole year to see this movie, and somebody was on their phones videotaping the credits, which he got the screen roll, the crawl at the beginning, and he got mad about it. And then the other guy was there next to him, and he said he checked his phone because it beeped, because he thought maybe babysitter was contacting them because they left their kid with babysitter and had to make sure it wasn't an emergency. And he took his phone out to check it, and this person got mad and punched him in the face.
Oh my god!
Now I get his frustration. We've been to theater where people are on their phones and they're yelling. We were at Men in Black the one time, the second one, and they were in the back. What were they saying? I don't even remember now.
About the dog. The dog. They're like, that dog is real funny.
It was so bad that you had to go actually out to the front. They didn't do anything about it.
They didn't do anything about it.
But, I get his frustration. However, you can't just punch people in the face. And this is in Canada.
Well, in Canada?
It was in Canada.
You can punch people in the face, but, you have to deal with the... Well, we had... a couple of so we went to go see Attack of the Clones, and there was a fight between Spider-Man and Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Cosplayers.
They were pretending though, weren't they?
I think it got pretty heated. I think they were drinking their college.
I don't know, but they got escorted out.
Yeah. And then there was another time I went to go see Phantom Menace, and I felt really bad because the theater manager She was pretty heavy set.
Oh, you told me that.
I
This
felt
is not okay.
so horrible about this, but she was heavier, and she had a bullhorn though, because everybody who went to go see the Phantom Menace at midnight was freaking drunk. They were just drunk off their ass. That's probably why everybody liked it so much at first, because they were drunk.
They're all drunk. Okay.
But she got the bullhorn out, and she's like, "Would everybody just please sit the hell down? I'm not starting this movie until you guys sit down." They were like, "Shut the F up, Jabba!"
Yeah, that was not.
Yeah, it was like...
I'd have been there. I'd have been stand up yelling at people.
It was pretty rowdy. I don't think...
I'd be like, shut up, you asshat.
Yeah, but, some people, man, they really got... I'll put a link to this. That's actually got footage in it, and I'll probably get demonetized, because, that seems to be the way it goes. But some people reacted very negatively to the ending. The ending of the movie, and didn't make people happy. There was booing. I've heard... Okay, so we've heard that there's booing at theaters. We've heard about theaters, and this rolls into the next segment here. Heard about a lot of theaters being partially or mostly empty, and this theater actually is mostly empty. So there's, we're kind of like, where's the box office at with this? And now we're going to do a proper box office, I guess, video tomorrow. When the final numbers are in, because they adjust them up or down. But it's interesting, though, how this movie has been adjusted down. Originally, they were talking, could go as high as 255 million. Then it got adjusted down to 205 million, then 200, then 180 to 200, then finally down to 175 to 200. But I've actually heard lower.
Up down to 160.
160 to 190.
190. Okay, so right now, what it says it's sitting at is 176 million.
Give or take, up or down. We won't know until tomorrow. Now, we have been saying that we had some people in the comments who are kind of like, why won't you talk about the success of the Rise of Skywalker? I'm like, because we never said it would bomb. We have never said this movie would bomb.
I think it's going to pull the numbers, but I don't think the numbers are going to be enough to offset the costs.
Well, that's the thing. And this is what, look, when Yahoo Finance today comes out and says Rise of Skywalker is a disappointment and Bob Iger is going to have hurdles because of the disappointment of the Rise of Skywalker, the disappointment of Galaxy's Edge. There's been a lot of disappointment. Look at what happened with Maleficent. That was another bomb. Now they're saying
disappointment. I think they're talking more towards the money end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're talking disappoints as far as a financial. Like, well, I loved it. They're not talking about you as a fan watching it. They're talking about what they expected. It's a disappointment. That's what they're referring to. Yeah.
Now that is completely different than being a bomb. I want to be clear. If it made $50 million, it would be a bomb. It's not a bomb, but it's nowhere in the same league as the other two sequel trilogy movies. Right. One came in at 250 or 260 million. The other one came in at 225. We're talking, 50 million less. But
yeah, people are like, well, you hit 175. That's great. It's like not in the fact that they had to downgrade that projection. How many times? And yay, it fell within the last and final low projection at the low end. That's great. Okay, I guess fine. I mean, that's like, I'm gonna run 10 miles. No, I decide I'm gonna run 7. I'm gonna run 5. I'm gonna run between 3 and 5. I ran 3.1. Yay, I did it because I said I would. I mean, I'm a success. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's basically what happened here. And then globally, though, do we have the global? Are you want to read something here?
I do have the global. They said that, basically they're like, look, it's got disappointing reviews, which are going to kill its legs. It's not going to, long term, it's not going to do as well as the other Star Wars. And it was the smallest haul of the other Star Wars movies. And it's probably because of cats. But it's 198 million. 198 million overseas. I had heard they predicted 250 million.
I thought they said 374 million global. I thought they said 450.
Yeah, they were talking,
Because I remember
so that's way under.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wasn't it like 450 million?
Yeah, 450.
Yeah, it was what they expected globally. And I was like, I can see that globally. I think that's, doable globally. That's way under what they were thinking that was going to be globally.
Yeah, they were talking 450 just a couple days ago. They were talking 450, and now China always hates Star Wars movies. And it's, even Scott Mendelson was talking about this, but this was laughably bad, even by China's standards. Like, the Star Wars movies never performed there, but in the first 2 days, it made like $5 million. Even the other ones made like 10, 20 million.
Right, it's bad.
It's bad. So, look, we're going to see tomorrow where it's at. The movie is not a bomb, but it's definitely
a disappointment. Which was what we said. We have said this the entire time. And if you take into consideration how much they spent on this movie, unless it does significantly better, it's going to be a bomb, but we're never ever going to see that because I'm sure they're going to make sure no one knows how much money was spent on this because they have to come out looking like they're ahead, you know, just to trick the investors, if nothing else.
It could, well, it's just it. It could break $1 billion, but they might have 600 million sunk into this thing before. You know, that's with the marketing and everything else. They could easily have 600 and some million sunk into it. At that point, you've got Joker, which was made on 50 million bucks, made over $1 billion. It's an R-rated movie, and that's without China. You know, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, China didn't help much here, though, to be fair.
China did not help at all.
But it is under expectations for the, at least as of now. I mean, we'll look tomorrow when it's been updated. Yeah. But as of now, it's under global expectations significantly. It's at the low end after it's been downgraded repeatedly. It's at the low end of what the downgrading was. Because they, you know, when you looked at that chart a minute ago, what 175 was the low end, wasn't it? We heard down to 160. So it's at the bottom end of what the Hollywood Reporter expected it to do.
Like $1 million over. And yeah, we've heard lower before, but I think they adjusted it down so they could say, well, it surpassed expectations.
That's what I'm saying. You've adjusted it down how many times? You're going on, oh, it's going to be this big giant whatever, and it keeps being downgraded and downgraded and downgraded and downgraded. Look, you need to report on this because you were wrong. It did 175. That's more than you said. It's like, no, it isn't. We read the predictions. I think the lowest
190.
One, yes, and it's right in there, right where, you know, after it's been downgraded repeatedly. Oh, you want an award for that? Of course you do. Yeah, they participated.
They were talking. It was easily going to do over 200 this weekend. And I'm sorry, when I started seeing all the tweets and all the videos of empty theaters or half empty theaters, I'm like, it's not going to do that.
I have friends posting pictures of themselves in the theaters. Now, they weren't posting it for any reason other than they were there because they don't get involved in this whole, you know, debacle on, you know, the pro, the against, whatever. They just went. And I'm looking around them, and there's nobody sitting around them. A couple people are behind them. And this is multiple people's pictures. And this was like, you know, Friday, Saturday, and there weren't people there.
Theaters,
I'm sorry.
No, theaters, even around here, you know, I was checking Pittsburgh theaters. Most of them weren't sold out except for the IMAX showings. And that's unusual. Usually, like, if you don't grab your star, I knew something was up when they boasted about the numbers, the pre-sale numbers from Adam. I don't think they ever mentioned Fandango, and then they never mentioned it again.
They did mention Fandango, too, at the initial. For the initial.
Oh, the initial, yeah. But then they started sending out more emails like, hurry, get your tickets.
Right.
Get your tickets,
and
everybody.
Some of those tickets that were sold were the ones that were pre-bought that were given out as giveaways, because they were giving out a lot out for giveaways and stuff. I don't know. I'm just saying, is that a bad number? No, it's a good number. Most movies would love that number. But for a Star Wars film, it's not a good number. And for a Star Wars film, we don't know, we suspect it has a lot bigger budget than the other ones did because of various reasons. That's not good. But, you know...
yeah. You know, is the cup half empty or half full?
Well, at this point, they split the fandom, and then we said before going into this, who's this movie for? Because the Last Jedi people are going to be mad if you retcon it. Yep. And the people, you know, who didn't like The Last Jedi and how you ruined it are going to be mad if you make Rey you keep Mary Sue and Rey up, which she walked away with everything. Yeah. And exactly what we said. Now, does that mean it's a bad movie? No. People like it, which is cool. You're allowed to. That's all good. Yeah. Knock yourself out. You're more than welcome to like it, and we have no problem with that. We have a problem with is people like calling people names for not liking things, and we won't put up with that shit. Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this one up. We will do another video talking more about the box office once the final numbers are in. But who is this movie? It is what it is, though. I mean, we're supposed to just lie and make up shit because it makes people feel better. Well, according to people, that's what we do. We don't. Take it up with Yahoo. Yeah, go talk to them. Go talk to the people who count the bean counters. All right, guys, so we're going to wrap it up. Yep. Okay, we'll talk later. Bye. Hey, guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.